Far Cry 6 is free this weekend, so let's see how it looks on HDR. I opened the game and just the calibration screen for the HDR is promising because we have the HDR peak brightness and the HDR paper white. So by the way, I was saying on Forza Horizon 5, I don't know why they are calling paper white to the peak brightness, and they are clearly calling that to the peak brightness. I don't know why. I said, for me, paper white is the the standard luminance, like the mid tones, like the SDR luminance, like the overall brightness of the game. Yeah, but anyway, it's something technical, doesn't matter. But here clearly, peak brightness, and so we do 800 for the peak brightness and 180 for that paper white. So this example here is not good to set up the HDR, because if you don't know, basically this display is a C1, is 800 nits. If you have a G1, it's 1000. If you have a different display, it might be different. So if you don't know the capabilities of your display, you don't have an example to know for sure that you are clipping that peak brightness. So with HGIG, so it would be better to have a logo, but I know that's the settings for my display. So the other thing we have here is HDR 10, and we have HDR SC RGB. So I did a quick search online, and it says that this HDR is supposed to be better and more color accurate because it processes the HDR in 16 bits, and so it maps the colors better, and then it's going to compress that to 10 bits, and it's supposed to give you a better color saturation. I'm gonna be trying both. For now, here on the menu, I haven't opened the game, by the way. I don't know how it looks. I have good expectations. So here on this main menu, if I change from HDR to HDR10 and I look at this picture, I see absolutely no difference. But that's tough. So I'm gonna have to try both. So on the graphics, I did 4K, everything maxed out, and I turn off anti-aliasing, just to have a baseline and see if we need some anti-aliasing. Hopefully we don't. At 4K, I think these developers, they should target 4K. Try not to use those, I think, those alpha textures that are problematic for the aliasing, and try to give you a sharp image at 4K without having to use anti-aliasing. But that's another topic. Let's see how it looks. Let's launch the benchmark and see how it looks. I haven't seen it yet. I just installed it. It's like 130 gigabytes. Crazy. I needed to delete 2 games. So performance, stutters. Let's see how the performance is. It's good. The performance is good. 70 frames at 4K max out, but it's looking blurry. The reflections are blurry. It is not looking very sharp. The colors are fantastic. Zero problem with the colors. The saturation of the colors is perfect. I know that for sure. This is not washed out at all. I can tell you, this is the first HDR10 game. Wow, look at that. It's like, the sun reflection was orange, like a deep orange. Look at this. Let's see, maybe an explosion over here. They always have an explosion. That was fantastic. So I didn't see any HDR. This benchmark was not showing any HDR flare, because there was not a lot of highlights. I didn't see the sun, the clouds. That explosion was not impactful, but the colors are perfect. And this is the first game, literally the first game that I open on HDR, let me try HDR10 and see if that's the issue. Because this is also the first game where I see. Well, I think Cyberpunk has this option too. I think Cyberpunk does have this option too. But you know, let's see. Let me try now the HDR10 and see if the colors are as good. Let's see. So the first game that I opened with supposedly accurate settings, which is auto detect, color saturation 55, warm 50, and I don't see the colors washed out. Let me take a look at this. HDR10 is also looking good. It's also looking good. The saturation is good. Let me see that sun reflection again. The saturation is good. I don't see any difference that I can perceive. I cannot tell any difference. Maybe the time of the day is slightly different on the benchmark. I'm not sure. Let's see, that sun reflection is perfect. So I see no difference, to be honest. No difference that I can tell just at a first glance. So the color saturation is perfect. This is the first game where I don't see the colors being washed out at all. And I haven't tried SDR yet, but this cannot be more saturated. It would look ugly. So I'm gonna try SDR at the end and see if there is any differences there. So let me show you the settings I have. Let me change the HDR to this new fancy HDR SC RGB, just in case it's better. Let me fire the game for the first time. New game. We're gonna go easy because I'm gonna play with the controller. So we're probably gonna have some cutscenes before the game starts. So let me show you the settings: brightness, HGIG, and color auto detect 55, warm 50. So this is what you're supposed to do on every game. It's supposed to look great. So I'm gonna skip all the introduction so I can see the game, and then I would watch that later. If I can skip. Oh, we're already in engine. It is looking blurry in movement, super blurry. This I have G-Sync on. See how it looks on the video. I have G-Sync on. Yeah. It's looking jumpy, blurry when the camera moves. But the colors are fantastic. I don't know why it's so shaky and blurry when the camera is moving. Okay. Very, very high resolution texture here. Very, very high. The face also has a high resolution texture. I like it. See how much it's using? Oh, it's using almost 12 gigabytes of VRAM. That's why. It is high resolution, the textures. The faces, the character models are not impressive at all. So we see the lights off. I'm waiting to see an explosion, something impactful, but it's looking so blurry when the camera moves. I don't know why. I don't have motion blur on. I turned that off. Okay, so let's see that light is bright, but not very, very bright. But I'm not crushing any shadow detail. It's looking perfect. Wow, that's bright. That was bright, yes. That was bright. That light there, right there. You know, perfect shadow detail. We see the black bars are perfectly black. So there's no black level rays. perfect shadow detail, bright highlights. It's colorful. I think this is perfect. I need to try it more, but I think this is gonna be perfect HDR. That was not very bright. It's looking so blurry in movement. I don't know why. Well, it's during the cutscene. It's during the cutscene. Now it's looking okay. I mean, sample and hold blurry. I'm gonna try to use black frame insertion here. This is blurry in movement. Very blurry. 67 frames. It's looking blurry. Very responsive. It's responsive. But it's blurry. But I'm liking the graphics. Very, 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 very nice, beautiful color saturation. I have absolutely zero problem. So look at this fire here. This candle is looking fantastic. Fantastic. So I'm gonna be playing the game, try to see if there is any difference between those two HDR settings, a difference that I can see. I'm going to then try to SDR. I'm gonna try HLG tone mapping off with SDR, compare that with the plasma on SDR, but I have absolutely zero reason to believe that HLG here is gonna be better. No way, because the color saturation is perfect. I know that for sure. For sure, that it's just perfect color saturation. Look at that. Look at the color of that fire right there. This is awesome. Awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna keep. I'm probably gonna do 3 parts. I'm gonna be playing it. I'm gonna do some comparisons. I'm gonna try black frame insertion here because for first-person shooter, this looks blurry. When you move the camera, it is blurry. Very responsive, but it is blurry. So either lower the graphics to get a higher frame rate and be competitive, or try to use black frame insertion with HLG tone mapping on. But I am loving the color saturation, the shadow detail, the highlight looks bright. But yeah, especially the color saturation, it's beautiful. It's still, I mean, the aliasing is bad. The aliasing is bad. I'm gonna have to use anti-aliasing at 4K. It is visible, the jaggies are visible. So yeah, I'm gonna keep playing around, probably gonna do part 2 and 3.